So we're gonna be going through your whole life right now. So I hope you're ready.
Uh-oh, I don't know why. I've got these stupid minion stickers of the little yellow minions on the back of my van. And it's become sort of like a little trademark where the amount of people that spot my van out and about, I can't really go and park up anywhere without someone being like, oh, I saw your van. I'm like, can't do anything. Yeah, so my van is completely adapted, obviously, for hand controls, so I don't use any of the foot pedals. And yeah, it's like you said, it's the Paravan space drive hand controls where I always describe it. Do you know when people ask you, can you like pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time? You've got to do like two bits of concentration. That's the way I describe my driving because it's very, when I was learning to drive, I actually wrote off a car 2 weeks before my test.
Oh no.
Which I do promise I am a good driver. You know.
Like, how did you develop your confidence to be able to drive? Really that popular that people drink tea in like England, for example? Or that's just like a myth?
No, it's true. I hate to admit it. But yeah.
You do need a certain level of self-esteem to just not only to drive, that's a huge deal in itself, but like to go out in public and just go to places you want to go by yourself.
Yeah. I think I often take for granted, actually, a lot of that does come down to the UK, sort of in general. It's okay. I'm not going to sit here and slag it off completely as much as I would love to, but like me, a bit of a nervous traveller, you can look in advance and see, oh, if I'm going to somewhere new, I can have a look at, do they have toilets, do they have parking, is there wheelchair access? I can check all that out in advance without having to spend hours trying to scroll through the internet. I spent so long worrying about going to somewhere new, and it's a big part of, takes the fun out of, and the spontaneity out of going on a trip or going somewhere new. So for the sake of just looking it up in advance, having all the information in one place makes it so much easier. So they always link disability to, like, they think there's a big thing about inspiration porn. I hate the whole stigma that comes with disabilities and inspiration porn, and people think that
We don't want to say we're better than other people, but we think we're better than other people, just to give us that edge of having to do, or at least take the chance to do these things. Do you have any advice that you tell the kids besides not crashing?
yeah, just don't listen to me, basically.
Hello, welcome to my podcast, to Mics One JoeySooch. I am Joe Sooch, and I'll be giving a mic to Ross. His life is on wheels as he battles spinal muscular atrophy, or spinal muscular atrophy is fighting Ross because it seems he can't be stopped. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. Very good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you, so I'm a little surprised you said yes to this podcast because I read that you hated interviews and always said no. So what changed your mind to say yes?
Do you know what? That's very true. I feel like I'm used to being on the other side of this now. Like, I much prefer to be in control. I'm a bit of a control freak, to be honest.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Are you like a little nervous because I haven't given you any notes or anything?
No, I thought, do you know what? I don't want to be one of these guys that, nothing's off limits, I don't want to be like coming to this with, nah, we can't talk about this, can't talk about that. Let's just see what you've got for me.
Yeah, it's a little bit exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking because I really love to do research on each guest. So I go pretty deep into it. So we're going to be going through your whole life right now, so I hope you're ready.
Uh-oh, let's do this.
No, we'll have a fun time. I won't be like that embarrassing,
No, to be fair, I like you said, I don't just agree to do anything. So I did my little bit of background. I saw some of your clips. You seem like a fun guy, so I was like, do you know what? This could be good fun, and that's what I'm all about as well. So.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, it's always a little tricky when you don't know a person. I could say anything at this point. We have live mics here. It's a little petrifying, but well, it'll always revolve around disability and that kind of stuff. So let's jump in. So I see you as the co-presenter at Chaos TV, so this should be easy peasy.
I don't know about that. I still get very nervous. I mean, I absolutely love anything to do with media, presenting, stuff like that. I'm definitely sort of growing in confidence. But yeah, I still get a bit nervous.
Really, I feel like it's the other way around. I'd rather be invited as a guest because like all the stress is on the on me basically because I have to like come up with a question. I can't have awkward silences. You know, like if the conversation's not talking at all, like I have to like brainstorm something. You know.
True, there is that added pressure when you are the host, I guess. But I don't know, like I said before, I'm a bit of a control freak. I always like to be, I like to sort of know what's kind of happening. So when you're on the other side, you kind of have that power to steer the ship. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, I find it more nerve-wracking sort of being a guest. But we've got to test ourselves, we've got to push the limits, haven't we?
And I hope I'm one of the better guests, one of the better hosts for you.
I'm sure you are.
I do want to have a disclaimer that if you don't hear in Ross's thick accent, everything we talk about will be in the UK based. So let's dive into your mobility. You wrote you had a license for 10 years now. Is that for the wheelchair van you have, or the wheelchair, because both can be pretty dangerous in the wrong hands?
That's very true. Yeah, so 10 years has been my driving license now, which is mad to think I've actually been, well, I've been in the wheelchair for a lot longer than that. But yeah, been on the road for 10 years, which is mad. It was a rocky road to get there. But yeah, I'm so glad I learned to drive. It gives me so much independence, and I would be lost without my van. So yeah, I've had many years of practice and experience with the wheelchair that has led to me. I'd say I'm a pretty good driver of my van as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about the big blue van you have. You posted a picture and you blurred out the license plate. And I'm like, who else had the big blue Mercedes wheelchair van in the UK? Oh, I know, Ross does.
Do you know what? My van has actually got a bit of a reputation itself, and not in a bad way, but like, I've got like some, I don't know why, I've got these stupid Minion stickers of the little yellow Minions on the back of my van, and it's become sort of like a little trademark where the amount of people that spot my van out and about, I can't really go and park up anywhere without someone being like, oh, I saw your van. I'm like, can't do anything. If I want to hide anything, you know, I've got no chance.
You see it coming from a mile away.
Exactly. You won't see me parked in any dodgy lay-bys because I could never get away with it.
Yeah, and you'll always be in the wheelchair parking spot too, so they know exactly where you're going.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the Paravan space drive and what modifications you need to drive this van.
Yeah, so my van is completely adapted, obviously, for hand control, so I don't use any of the foot pedals. And yeah, it's, like you said, it's the Paravan space drive hand controls where I always describe it. Do you know when people ask you, can you like pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time? You've got to do like 2 bits of concentration. That's the way I describe my driving, because it's very, with your left hand you have a miniature steering wheel where you're twisting it, and then your right hand you've got your accelerator and brake where you're sort of going back and forward. So I'm kind of like doing some weird hand movements, but I love it. It really, like I said, it gives me so much independence. It's so easy, like all electronic by click of a button and I'm off. So I love it, yeah.
No, it sounds scary in a way because like you mentioned it two-handed. So like did it like first step is kind of building a confidence to be able to drive on your own. But like did you try different methods of how to drive a car?
Not really, no. I was sort of, that was the only adaptation in my local mobility centre that I was able to use, and that's what I just got on really well with, and I stuck with it. And I had quite an eventful experience when I was learning to drive. I actually wrote off a car 2 weeks before my test.
Oh no.
Which I do promise I am a good driver, you know, but yeah, there was a bit of a malfunction on one of my lessons and I was absolutely gutted. It was a technical error and it completely wrote the car off. We had a little accident, and yeah, it definitely knocked the confidence, but I stuck with it. I sort of applied then to get my own vehicle, and the rest is history, yeah.
So obviously no one has a van just sitting in the driveway. So are you saying that you have to get a van first and then do the driving test?
Yeah, so I started to learn to drive through my local mobility centre because there was only one vehicle in Cornwall that I could physically drive. that had the adaptions that I needed. And then obviously once I wrote that car off, which sorry for everyone else who ever needed lessons because I screwed it up for everyone. Once that car was out of action, I then had to go through the process of getting my own vehicle and start to learn again.
It is like scary to be behind the wheel because like we both have chronic illnesses that our bodies are degrading day by day, kind of like slowly. But are you like almost afraid of your inability to do things? Because like in my case, like sometimes my like arm might twitch a little bit, and then like when you're in behind a wheel, you don't want to like twitch. Like, do you have that kind of feeling?
No, I guess I definitely had those thoughts when I first started out. A lot of it comes down to confidence. I don't tend to drive long distance, so a lot of my driving is short distance in and around my town because I do get tired after a while. So it's all about managing it. I know when I approach a roundabout or something, I need to position myself in a stronger position so that my balance is better. And I wear a chest harness when I drive so that I'm secure in my chair and it gives me that extra bit of strength. So yeah, I'm not worried. I wouldn't put myself or others in danger if I didn't think I was safe.
I don't trust you to be in a car with you right now just because so like you say that it's kind of weird because like if you get the van, and we all know vans are very expensive, but like could you almost face a level of discrimination not being able to get a license just because of your disability and ableism in a way?
I suppose so. I mean, the thing is, nowadays there are so many adaptions. Like I know people who are a lot weaker than I am, and they still drive because there's so many different adaptions. I've seen models before where people can even manage controls with like head movements alone.
Oh my god!
I know it's scary.
That's scary. That's really scary.
But amazing as well. So I'm very lucky that I have some level of strength that I still feel safe enough to have hands on a control. But yeah, I'm not sure about the head stuff.
That I didn't even know that was a thing, and like I feel like that shouldn't be invented because that's so scary.
It is. You put a lot of faith in technology, which I don't know.
I mean, like in my case, it's like what if like I'm a guy and like if I see a beautiful woman and like turn to look at her, what am I to do? They crash, and it's like okay.
Hey, that's the risk you got to take, isn't it? You shouldn't be looking, Joe. You shouldn't be looking.
No, but it's even that's scary. I'm gonna put a line that you can't use your head to turn. No.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I think we'll avoid the head movements, but yeah, I'm very lucky with my van. I love it.
Yeah, like I saw a picture on your blog of the way you drive. It almost looked like a toy or like a very expensive video game.
It is. It is like a set of hand controls, like a video game. My friends often call my car the aeroplane because it makes these noises that is like hissing and making all these like air and suspension noises. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's got all the buttons and gadgets that I think they call it an aeroplane.
I mean, it's great that you have the mobility. It's just I think in my case, I'm like I'm confident in some ways, but like I'm not confident enough to be behind the wheel. Like I don't trust myself because I know like behind a vehicle can be pretty dangerous, and like I don't know, I don't want to put other people at harm just for me to be independent. It's like, how did you develop your confidence to be able to drive?
To be honest, I was very against it when I first started because I think in the UK you can start to like potentially learn to drive. I think it's when you're 17. And at first I had no interest in doing it. And then I think all my friends around me started to learn. And then I was like, well, do you know what? Actually, I do feel like I'm missing out a little bit here. I could do this. And then I don't think I actually applied until I was about 18. I think I left it about a year. And then obviously when I had the accident, that sort of knocked me a little bit. But
I'm surprised you kept going.
To be fair, I am as well, because I'm generally I'm quite a nervous, sort of anxious type of person. So, but I do genuinely believe that the driving has played a big part in my confidence. Like it has definitely helped me, and I'm so glad I did it. I don't know what made me want to do it. It probably was just the fact that my friends were doing it, so I was like, I can do this too. But
You literally want to be in the driver's seat.
I do. It all comes back to that.
So it said you had your van for 10 years and you'll be getting a new van. So what changes will you make to when you get your new van?
To be honest, I'm very much a creature of habit. In life in general, I hate change. I am someone who is very, I like things to be the way they are. I don't cope well with change. So it's a big thing getting a new van because it's not as simple as like most people just, they go to a dealership, they'll pick a new car and great, they'll jump in and go. Whereas there's so much that goes on behind the scenes to set up a perfect accessible van. Lots of fittings and adaptations to make things perfect, not just around the car, but the wheelchair has to be fitted in and secured. So yeah, it's a big old change. So for me, I would gladly keep my van now. It's in great condition, but because it is 10 years old now, it's obviously, it is time for an upgrade. So I've sort of purposely picked the most similar one that I have to now, so that it's not too much of a change.
Are you going to choose a different color? Switch it up?
Yeah, so we're definitely going for a different colour.
Yellow.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Or pink.
That. Definitely not. I feel like I want to do something a bit funky this time. I want to get it like, the basic colour that I've chosen is like a navy colour, but I definitely want to do something funky and get it like wrapped or sprayed, or I want to personalise it and make it a bit badass,
Yeah, well, I know the wrap. I don't know how long they last, but you could get like a new wrap every single year.
Could do. I mean, I'm not a massive like petrol head. I'm not bothered about cars in general, but I do love my van now, and my van is so specific to me. And like I said, my van is kind of like a staple point. Everyone knows me and my van, which is quite cool. So I feel like I want my new one to be something special as well.
Well, you could start advertising yourself on it, like put like your number, like space for advertising, because it's such a huge van that like everyone sees it.
Should I just get a massive picture of my face just splattered on the side of it?
Exactly, like call Ross today for podcasting needs or something.
I'll be getting all sorts of randoms ringing then.
Yeah, I mean that's a great idea. Like there's free money right there.
It's true. It's a good idea. We could do some blog advertising on the van, but no, I think I'll just go for a nice little two-tone colour or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm a little disappointed you aren't talking to me from your happy place, Paravan Beach. Boo.
Perranporth Beach. Oh, what a place. I don't know if have you ever been to the UK at all? No.
Nope.
Oh, okay. So I'm very lucky that I live in Cornwall, which is at the southwest of the UK, and we are surrounded by lovely beaches. And yeah, Perranporth is definitely my happy place. I often just drive there with my laptop to do some work, or I'll take a book and I'll just park up and watch the waves and get some work done. And yes, I love it.
I think the closest I have to the UK is I don't know if you know the show Peaky Blinders.
Yes, I've not watched it, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not sure if it's in the UK though.
I believe it's a certain type of part of London. Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, I don't know like what if there's a huge like cultural relevance or.
I think a lot of people think we are British people are either like the Peaky Blinders, or if you're in the southwest like me, everyone thinks we're farmers. Which, I do have farming in my family, but no, we're not all riding tractors.
Well, do you drink your teas?
Do I eat? You're going to be asking me if I eat scones next as well, aren't you? My scone, my tea, my crumpets.
So you do? So you're saying you do drink teas?
I actually don't. I don't drink any hot drinks. I'm a bit strange like that. I don't know. You're there with your... Is that a hot drink in there? Possibly?
No, actually, I can't swallow, so I actually spit my saliva into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a reverse answer, I guess. Yeah.
Fair enough, but no, I don't I don't drink hot drinks. Tea,
Is it?
coffee.
But is
Coffee.
it a? I mean, everyone knows. Is it really that popular that people drink tea in like England, for example, or that's just like a myth?
No, it's true. I hate to admit it. But yeah, we a cup of tea kind of solves any problem. If you're having a good day, have a cup of tea. If you're having a bad day, stick the kettle on. You know.
Have you ever watched the show Ted Lasso?
No.
Well, there's this one scene where like the guy from the United States he comes to England for the first time to work on a soccer team. So the lady offers him tea, and then he like spits it out and like this is shit.
I don't blame him, to be fair. I don't like it, but it's very popular. A lot of people do.
I mean, I'm not a like before I was able to eat. I would never a hot water type of person.
I'm not into tea. I'll occasionally have. I like coffee just to dunk biscuits. I don't drink the coffee, but I'm a biscuit dunker. So
Yeah, you definitely need something to drink with that because it gets so dry.
yeah, I like a coffee, and I'll get my chocolate digestive.
Yeah, so let's talk about your spinal.
Spinal muscular atrophy.
So like, what are you limited to? So I know that you can't walk anymore. So are you like independent person, or you need some help? Like, what is your mobility? I guess.
Yeah, so I'd say I'm fairly independent. I very much like to be left alone as much as possible, but I do need help with a lot of my basic care and daily needs. I couldn't live independently if I didn't have that support to set me up throughout the day. So yeah, I have a small team of carers. I sort of have one person come in every day, and they come in and help me with all the basic personal care. And I'm also lucky in the sense that my family live nice and close by. So if I need anything throughout the day, I just give them a bell and they'll come and help me out.
Like when you go out, so I know you have your car and you go out, and then like if you go out to like someplace, are you alone for most of the day?
Yeah, socially, I like this. Sounds really bad, doesn't it? Like socially, I like to be alone. But yeah,
Yeah.
whenever I go out with friends and stuff, I don't sort of have any support with me. I'm usually pretty set up before. So yeah, but when I'm at home and I have help with, the cooking, the cleaning, the sort of the getting dressed and the washing, that kind of thing. But when it comes to socially out and about, thanks to my car, I can just take myself and go and have fun.
Yeah, you do need a certain level of self-esteem to just not only to drive. That's a huge deal in itself, but like to go out in public and just go to places you want to go by yourself.
Yeah. I think I often take for granted, actually, a lot of that does come down to the car, because if I didn't have the van, I wouldn't be able to go to these places as easily. Like public transport and all that is not great. And yeah, I just prefer, the fact I can jump in the car. I do take that for granted, and I know I shouldn't. I love just going out, and I'm a very private person in a sense, even though I do share a lot of my life online. I do consider myself a private person as well, and I do like to keep separate my care and the support I get in terms of care
Hmm.
and my sort of friends and my social life, because my friends just see me as Ross. We go out, we have fun like any friends do, whereas a lot of my friends probably don't even know the extent of what goes on behind the scenes for me to get to that event, you know?
It seems to be a very healthy relationship.
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's important for me to be seen as just Ross. I'm not just that guy in the wheelchair, or, to me, they want to hang out with me because we're friends and we have a laugh. It's they don't know that side of my life, and I'm happy with that. They don't almost need to know.
Yeah, it's just kind of like they don't tell you what it took for them to get to you either.
Exactly. Yeah, we've all got different things in life, different struggles and whatever. So yeah, I think it's a good little setup. My care team respect that I like a bit of privacy and boundaries as well, and it's a very good setup. Like I said, I'm very lucky in that sense.
Yeah, so you say you live in the UK and UK been around for a very, very, very long time. But like, how is the accessibility for you since, like most most people don't rebuild. They just build on top of each other. So how is accessibility for you?
Accessibility in the UK, sort of in general, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to sit here and slag it off completely as much as I would love to, but obviously there's room for improvement. Of course, there are places that need better access and whatever, but I think that's a lot of the work that I do on my blog and stuff, is to promote the positive side of disability and access, because yes, there's a lot of bad, and if something's really bad, of course I will call it out, but there's also a lot of positive out there, and we've definitely come a long way since over the past few years. Back in the day, it definitely wasn't where it is now.
Yeah, we're going to segue into the next section, which is on point of what we're talking about. So I know you have a partnership with National Highways and I don't know how you say, Assess Able or Assess Able.
Yeah.
And so what's your contribution to that?
Yeah, so Access Able, I'm the Southwest ambassador for their company. So they basically provide these detailed access guides, which basically, in simple terms, you can go on your phone or a website and you can look in advance at what a venue's access is like. So if you're like me, a bit of a nervous traveller, you can look in advance and see, if I'm going to somewhere new, I can have a look at, do they have toilets, do they have parking, is there wheelchair access? I can check all that out in advance without having to spend hours trying to scroll through the internet for reviews and whatever. It's all facts and figures and photographs. So yeah, I've done quite a bit of work with them and the National Highways. They've recently done some access guides for all the motorway services in the UK. So that was a really proud project that I was proud to be involved with.
Yeah, I did want to say to the audience that I didn't understand. When you have a severe chronic illness, or especially in a wheelchair, it's very stressful going to a brand new place. Because you kind of have to know where things are ahead of time. It just gives you less stress when you're actually there. And then some places you don't want to go if it's not accessible, because you want to, like, if you have to go to the bathroom and it's not accessible, like, what you gonna do? Like, you can't just drive you can't go around searching for a bathroom like in a 10-mile radius. You gotta know, so it's extremely stressful. So like services like these, where we have people like Ross that goes into the unknown and test it out and see if it's good, because most people wouldn't even, if you're not in a wheelchair and you're physically able, you wouldn't even know what to look for. You just go in whatever. So it's a great service you're doing to help, well, for yourself, but help so many others, because like you seem to be pretty confident and social, but some have more social anxiety or more stress. So it definitely helps them out to plan trips and whatnot.
Definitely, yeah. It's before I ever heard about them, you spend so long worrying about going to somewhere new, and it's a big part of takes the fun out of and the spontaneity out of going on a trip or going somewhere new. So for the sake of just looking it up in advance, having all the information in one place makes it so much easier. So yeah, I'm very passionate about promoting good access and inclusion like that.
Kind of surprised that like an independent company kind of doing it. I feel like it would help a lot in like the Google world. Could have so much information.
Yeah, no, it's true, and I know Access Able keep collaborating with other sort of independent companies as well. They've recently just teamed up with Community Health Partnerships, which they own part of the NHS in England. So again, that's another big collaboration that, the NHS and healthcare venues are a big issue for when people need, they have access requirements. So yeah, I am surprised that it's not on a bigger scale.
Yeah, it affects a lot of us, and I think it's kind of like a bad thing, because if you have less accessibility information out there, then the people that are needing of this asset do not know about it, so they just won't go. So it kind of creates a bad paradox where if they don't know it's accessible, they won't go there, because then you'll never get those accessible people. So like now, these people like you're kind of just dressing to go to these places and say like, hey, this is accessible or this isn't, instead of this no information, meaning that you're not going to want to take a chance.
Exactly. Like, and a lot of the work that I do with Access Able, it's not about saying if someone has good access or bad access, because something I've learned along my sort of blogging career so far is that you're never going to please everyone, and everyone has different access needs. What I think is great, somebody else might think is complete rubbish. So it's not, we're not there to give personal opinions. It's showing you what is there, and then you can make your own mind up about it. It's just pure facts.
Well, I think what's great about you, I mean, it's horrible at the same time, but you're more on the extreme side of the disability. So if you say something is good, your opinion weighs more versus someone that's just in a regular wheelchair but just might not be able to walk, for example.
Yeah? You saying I'm special?
I don't like the word special. It like rubs me the wrong way.
No, I get you. I know.
Yeah, I did call it, like, I know in the disability world, it's like, you don't call me this, don't call me that, ask me how to, like, call you. I did call people this, I did kind of call them how they are, like, you're disabled, like, that's,
Exactly.
like, you're not going to fight with me on that, like, that's obvious, like, I can understand, like, cripple had the more in demeaning terms, retarded is more demeaning, like, I understand that, but just the word disabled, or had a disability, that's you, and like, you're gonna stand up and fight them? No, that's who you are, and that's it.
I know. This is the problem now. Everybody gets offended by everything. Like, I get it, we're all different, but the whole what terminology to use, it does frustrate me, because we live in the world is going very PC. And yeah,
I've been like kind of fighting that for the past couple of years, but I feel like the one that are complaining have the louder voices. But if you talk to most people, they're not gonna say anything. They're just gonna be like, okay, that's how I feel.
yeah, a lot of people say now they don't want to be called disabled. They'd rather be called, like, is it differently abled or something? I'm just like,
What?
you do you, like.
We gotta like stick to like a standard and move on.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? We're not going to be running marathons anyway, so is it really worth getting that worked up about it?
I think like the internet creating the delusion that we're all offended, but most of us are like, okay, maybe not most of us, but a lot of us are just like fine with how we are. Like, not all of us are like so insecure, and like most disability people are not like posting every single accomplishment about themselves. Like, they're just living their lives the way they're living. Like, most people don't, like, if you go on Instagram, you care about a person for 30 seconds and then you never think about them again until they post again. So like, no one really cares about you or thinks about you longer than your post.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of disability influencers, bloggers, I think that's why I try and keep all my stuff as positive as possible, because disability has this very negative stereotype within the media, and that really bugs me. Like, it's very poor me, and yes, I'm not saying a lot of the time that is the case. A lot of disability related things are negative, and that is true, but there is so much positive as well that I would rather focus on, and that's what I use my platforms to share, like different achievements and things that I do that aren't stereotypically the norm. That's why I sort of try and promote more positivity, because I hate a lot of these disability activists that are so negative. I just feel like they give us a really bad name.
I kind of did accept it, and I almost used it to my advantage in a way. It does get annoying because like I did some like work for like other people, and they wrote articles about me, and like I understand they're gonna do anything they do to get the most clicks. So like one put like, I'm single and looking for love, and it's like it was only like one sentence out of like a whole hour interview. Yeah, just whatever gets them clicks, and like I accepted they gotta make money, get the clicks, and I did move on. But like most people just, I did find that we're playing a game, and we all know the rules and how people will act, and you just gotta go along with it. I know most people won't understand me, and it's not really their fault. That's just how they are. Like, most people are not gonna see a disability person out in the wild, especially as severe cases as us. I think accept it and do me. Like, we're all living in our little worlds.
Exactly. We get on with our own things at our own pace. So just leave us to it.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's a little difficult at the same time because our disability is pretty severe and like we just look different. Like on one hand, like I understand people are not comfortable with us. Like, if one, they never saw us, it kind of we're like almost not supposed to be alive, and I get that uncomfortness, but at the same time, I also want to live too and live my life. So like the way I kind of justify is that let's say we're walking on the street, you can just turn away, and then the another thing is that let's say we see each other, you're gonna think about me for a minute, and then never think about each other again.
It's a very good point, and a lot of people as well. They always link disability to like they think there's a big thing about inspiration porn. I hate the whole stigma that comes with disabilities and inspiration porn. And people think that all people with disabilities are like some sort of Paralympian. You know, we're not all to that level. Like, everybody's different, and it's frustrating at times.
Do people treat you differently due to the way you look? Like, do they treat you like you're not intelligent at all or anything like that?
I wouldn't say so much these days. Definitely when I was younger, especially like if I was out and about with someone, people will always talk to the person you're with, whether it's my parents or a carer. They will bypass you and they'll think, oh, you can't speak for yourself, or you don't have an opinion on this. So that's been very frustrating. But I think confidence comes over time, and as I've got older, I've definitely become more confident enough to stand up for myself, you know, no pun intended. But yeah, it's my life, and I will call out things that are wrong now, whereas when I was younger, I would have just sat back and accepted it.
I think that it comes with normal age for anybody and everybody. Go back to what we were talking about before. So, do you ever afraid of what the future will hold because we both have disabling diseases? So, like, for example, like, would you were afraid that you would get the van and stuff, and then maybe your disease would progress that you couldn't drive the van? It's like all that time and money would be wasted.
Definitely. Yeah, simple answer, yes. Like, try not to think about it too often, because it is, obviously, it's not nice. I think I've been one of these that I know the general gist of how my disability is set to progress, but I've always tried to avoid Googling stories, and I've always tried to avoid reading up on all the facts and history, because I've already almost exceeded the expectations that were predicted for me. So not everybody can be tarnished with the same brush. We're all different. Yeah, I try not to dwell on it because it can easily get you down. But also I am a realist, so I know one day I probably am not going to be able to drive, and that is, you know, sad and scary for me. But there are worse things in the world, so tackle those issues when they come.
I think we're kind of in the same boat as in we don't want to say we're better than other people, but we think we're better than other people, just to give us that edge of having to do, or at least take the chance to do these things.
Yeah, there's a famous saying, isn't there, that there's always somebody worse off than you, which I know it kind of sounds horrible, but there is. Like, in terms of disability anyway, I could be having a really down day or a really bad day, getting worked up and annoyed about something that's fairly trivial when you think about it. But actually, it's easy to forget. I'm very lucky and privileged that I have a house over my head, you know, I can earn money, I've got a car, I've got friends and family. So I am very lucky in that sense that a lot of people don't have those things. So it is important to remind yourself sometimes.
So let's talk about, so I know you're a mentor now for some strange reason. So you're part of the Active 8 new mentorship program. I know you were a part of it when you were given a mentor, But how much has it helped you when you were growing up?
Yeah, so Activate helped me massively. Like, I can't stress what an amazing charity they are. Like, again, it comes down to confidence. They are a charity that helps sort of to empower and motivate young people. So I joined Activate when I was about 13, I think. And it's basically a group of young disabled people that they go away for a weekend to learn life skills and do fun activities. And it's sort of once a month for 2 years, but it continues on past that. And the group of people that I was in, it's the first time that I've ever mixed with other disabled people. And the group, we just got on so well. And we've been friends now for God knows how many years. It's over 10 years. And we're still best friends now. We meet up all the time, and the charity just helped me so much. So me becoming a mentor now is almost like me giving something back. Disclaimer, I don't really like kids. So why I've
signed the word job for you.
So why I've signed up to mentor other kids, I do not know. But for me, it's giving back to the charity because they've done so much for me. And yeah, it's just a good way for us to, we're not mentors in the sense that we're going to be guiding them through the most important decisions of their life. They've obviously got their own friends and family for that, but it's just having somebody else nearby that if they have any questions or concerns about disability or about their involvement with the charity, because we've been through it, we're just there, we're another voice to speak to.
Sounds to me more of like a confidence booster kind of camp because like we all been there where we all have been insecure with ourselves and our disabilities, and we don't really understand what's happening around us. We just kind of know we're a little bit different, but we truly don't understand like the scope of it.
Yeah, and a lot of the youngsters that we're going to be mentoring are at that crucial stage in life where they're sort of finishing college and they don't know what path to take. So do they want to start driving? Are they going to start looking for employment, relationships, all that important stuff that I think it just helps to see somebody else in a similar position that has maybe been through it, just someone to talk to and almost guide them. And like you said, it's a confidence boost more than anything.
Do you have any advice that you tell the kids besides not crashing?
Yeah, just don't listen to me, basically. We're at the very early stages, but sort of the conversations I've had with my mentees so far, it has been like, we're going to be talking through employment, and we're going to be talking through, as far as I know, he wants to look into learning to drive. So they're things that I can personally help him with. So I'm looking forward to, in that sense, helping him with that.
Yeah, these kids have it so much better than when we were growing up. Like people like you are like helping the future generation of having more accessibility needs, like all this information, and like their lives are like stress free now.
Yeah, they've got it easy. They don't know how good they've got it.
I know, it's like it's hard because they really wouldn't. I mean, it's really nice to see that they're growing up in a world where they have to like focus less on accessibility needs. They can go anywhere, but they also won't realize like how horrible it was 10 years ago, like 40 years ago. It was horrible.
Yeah, and obviously, like we said, we've still got a long way to go. There's people before us that have fought the fight and got us to where we are now, and I think it's our job to continue that to help the future generations. So it's a circle of life, isn't it?
The other thing is that we're also living in totally different countries, so like your accomplishments in your world is way different than I'm in. I'm in the United States.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It makes it's good, but it also makes it difficult because we're kind of fighting the same thing, but in totally different, I guess, rings you could call it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to America. I've been to America a couple of times, but that was, again, when I was much younger. So in terms of access and things, I can't really remember too much because I was a lot more able back then. So if I was to come to America now, it would be a whole different story, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're New York City, you kind of have to like pre-plan it. But what's great is that there are wheelchair vans, Ubers, so you can get around if if you
Okay.
have money. All the public transportation are wheelchair accessible, so that's really good. If you go out west, like the city, like the East Coast, a lot of cities and stuff. But if you go out west, it's a lot more space and it's a lot more accessible. The only thing you will need is to rent a wheelchair van, and that can be a little difficult. But also expensive to rent a van for a day, and I think that's a huge hurdle for people wanting to travel and be independent.
Definitely, yeah. It's a lot of it does come down to cost and availability. I know when it comes to like public transport and like taxis in the UK, for example, trying to get an accessible taxi is quite difficult, especially when you're a wheelchair user that's non-ambulant. Like you can't sort of transfer yourself. A lot of people see you in a wheelchair and they'll presume you can still either walk a little bit or you can just hop out and transfer onto another seat. But it doesn't work like that.
No, you're even if you could walk, like your wheelchair is humongous. Like
Yeah.
you need a special kind of van to even put it anywhere. Like there's no way you're gonna lift that wheelchair into a car.
No, no way. I went to a festival once and it was quite bad conditions in terms of like mud.
No, I've been there.
And it was horrendous. I got stuck, and I think in the end I had about 6 grown men trying to lift my chair, like just to get me back out onto some hard ground. It was
Oh my
bad.
god. Yeah, I've been there. It's the life we have to live for that people won't never know.
Yeah, all I wanted to go was to the silent disco, but it turned into a whole different drama.
Yeah, so like I wanted to know, like, so what would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I would say probably living by myself. I'd say that's a big thing for me. Um, like I said, I do have carers and family that come in and out and help me, but having my own space, I just love having my own space. I've got a dog, so that's a big achievement, accomplishment.
Wow.
I keep him alive, which is something I'm very proud of. I always say I always say that I work hard so that I can provide a better life for my dog. Like he get he gets all the biscuits, all the treats that he wants. So yeah, being a dog dad, that's a big achievement for me.
Hey, that's a pretty big achievement. That's huge. Like you should be proud of yourself. Like I would love to be independent. Like it just says that you're independent. You can handle yourself mostly. Like you mentioned that you have care, but you established that you needed the care. You have the care, so that's great. You're making money so you can live on your own. That's great too. And you're taking care of another living being. That's huge. I know people that can't take care of a plant.
Well, I do struggle with the plants. I'm not gonna lie. But
So you're not that perfect then.
no, far from it. I think every time my sister comes to visit me, she goes round and she touches all my plants, and she's like, "You haven't watered them." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
So before I take the mic away from you, is there anything you want to say, promote, any words of wisdom? The mic is all yours.
Oh, no, I don't really have anything to say other than just thank you for having me. It's been great. As you said, I don't often agree to do these things, but I liked your vibe, and I just thought, we'll do this. In terms of things to promote, I guess I've got my website, my blog. It's just alifeonwheels.co.uk, and yeah, I'm always doing little bits on social media promoting access and just generally trying to have a comical take, a bit of fun when it comes to different things. So yeah, just at Ross Lannon, that's my social media handle. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so all he mentioned will be in the description below. Thank you for your contribution to the disability world in the UK. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it, even though they don't know that it's you, but I'm sure they can all see your blue wheelchair van bus or whatever color you decide to pick, but I'm sure they'll know who you are. Thank you, Ross, for giving me your time. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and I'll see everyone next time. Bye!